Estamos en vivo. Estamos en vivo. We are doing a live. We are live right now. And today is August. No, it's not August. I'm thinking about August. The practices that I saw in August of the Miami Hurricanes. I thought they were going to have a promising year. Maybe lose only 1 or 2 games. And they've already been beaten 4 times. What can I tell you? Today is actually October 16th, 2021, and the Hurricanes still have 6 games left. I don't know how many games they're going to win. If they're going to either win 5, 6 games, 4 games. You know, this is the worst start to the year since 1997, when I believe they won 5 and 6. So it's a total disaster. Manny's got to go. Manny has to go. Manny Diaz has to go. I was a big supporter of Manny. Liked his personality. I like his energy. He used to coach great defenses. The biggest problem I see, and they have a lot, and I'm going to point them out, there are at least 10 different problems, is that the defense is awful. And Manny Diaz is a defensive expert, or so-called defensive expert. That's his forte. And he's coached defenses for a lot of years. And, well, when Mark Richt was the head coach, which I didn't agree necessarily with Mark Richt. He was too conservative. The offense was too stale. It wasn't innovative. But he did hold the players accountable, and there weren't as many drop balls or missed tackles. I mean, the Hurricanes have more talent now than they had 3 or 4 years ago, yet they're playing worse. That's on the head coach. He's the one that hires the assistants, and the defense is laughable. I mean, obviously they played better than they did last year when they allowed 773 yards, and I think it was 559 yards on the ground, both school records, bad school records, not good school records, terrible defense. So actually, yeah, they improved, but I mean, that's like when you are at a 0. Let's say in a test and you're at a 0, you can go up to 20 or 30, still an F. So yeah, improved, but it's horrible. They gave up 45 points, and bear in mind the Hurricanes scored 42. They had a chance to win at the end, but of the 42 points, 7 was in a pick 6. The Hurricanes returned it. They intercepted somehow and returned it for a touchdown, so it was a pick 6. The defense scored. So actually Miami put up less than that. They still have problems when they get close and get in the red zone. They have to settle for field goals and not touchdowns. They played a little better today, but they had 2 field goals, which if either of those field goals would have been a touchdown, they would have won the game. A lot of penalties, stupid penalties, roughing the passer, you know, unnecessary roughness, late hits. Some people say that the referees are being hard on them, that sometimes they're looking more closely at Miami, and sometimes the other players and the other teams don't get the same, you know, calls of necessary roughness and things like that. But the problem is, if you know they have it out for you, you have to adjust, and that's where coaching comes in. There might be a slight bias against Miami, but you have to do something about that. You as a coach have to coach well. Then we have to play more by the rules, be more careful, not commit these stupid penalties that are basically costing us games. All the close games that they lose, it comes down. Last week it was, or 2 weeks ago, was a missed field goal. Before that, you know, against the Michigan State game, it was actually close going into the fourth quarter. It's actually 17-14. Then it became a blowout. Michigan State scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. But it was basically stupid mistakes where you're, you know, roughing the passer, or you're hitting a guy out of bounds, or you're hitting him late. You know, things that it's not necessarily have to do with talent. It has to do with coaching, and coaching these players to play the game the right way. I'm seeing, again, too many mistakes. I'm going to start with number 1. Number 1, still drop balls. Receivers are still dropping. Backs are still dropping interceptions that, like today, one was a pick 6. Not saying there would have been a couple more pick 6s, but at least turnovers that they sorely needed in a tough game like this. They're not turning the ball over on the other team. They're not getting turnovers like they did when Manny Diaz first came in and charged the defense. They're not sacking the quarterback. They're not hitting the quarterback. When he first came in, they would average maybe 4 sacks a game and maybe 8 to 9 to 10 hits on a quarterback. You know, deflected balls in the line of scrimmage, contested balls, you know, pass defended. and interceptions. They had 3, usually would average about 3 to 4 turnovers a game, where they would either cause fumbles or interceptions on the other team. That's not happening. And the defense is not good enough. You don't see 3 and outs like when they used to dominate. You see a lot of teams, not necessarily like North Carolina, but even teams weaker than North Carolina, getting third down percentage of completions of first down, when you're third down, and if you don't get the first down, you basically, most teams punt, right? Well, turn down conversion rate, that's what they call it. It's not good. When you're allowing a team 50-60% turn down conversion rate, they're gonna keep drives alive. They're gonna score points. They're gonna tire your defense, and they're gonna prevent your offense from scoring. So that's not good. So first of all, the drop passes, both on offense and defense. Got to find, I don't know, they got to put some stickum or something. I think it's illegal now, but we have to find some kind of substance where the ball won't fall, where they'll actually catch the ball, especially in critical situations. Missed tackles. They play better, but they still have missed tackles. Almost every quarterback and every running back that runs against them looks like they're Heisman. They have a hard time tackling today, even though today was better. Again, it's unacceptable putting 45 points up. That's 6 touchdowns. Okay, you heard me right. 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns and a field goal. But that's 6 touchdowns. Now, Miami did turn the ball over 3 times on interceptions. The last one was the end of the game, which they could have won. But it was a tip ball. But we'll get back to that in a second. But they did have the other 2 interceptions. But again, the defense, it wasn't like it was pick 6, like when Miami picked 6 North Carolina quarterback. It was interceptions where the defense could have prevented the Tar Heels from scoring, but they didn't. And they even had one penalty where they ran into a kicker. North Carolina had put up a field goal, and they ran into the kicker, so they gave him the ball closer, and the next play, North Carolina went in for a touchdown. So, again, I'm going to go back. I'm reiterating. Number 1, drop balls, both on offense and defense, but most notably on offense. Number 2, missed tackles. Number 3, penalties, especially in crucial situations, giving the team other opportunities to score. Today's game, a field goal went from 3 to 7 because they actually took the penalty. They took points off the board. The next play they score. So that's a difference. 3 points to 7 points, a difference of 4. They lost by 3, so that's a ball game right there. Okay, so again, back. Want to make sure everybody gets this. Drop balls, both offense and defense, especially receivers and offensive players. Number 2, missed tackles. Number 3, penalties, including stupid penalties at the wrong time that cost you games. Number 4, coaching. Why coaching? I'll tell you what. Well, coaching, Miami's not prepared. Every game this year, every single game, they have not been, except maybe the coastal, what was it? I forgot. Central Connecticut State, but that's a team that's, Miami could beat them with their number 3, number 4 starters, backups, because the team is almost like high school playing with college, or even middle school playing with college. So that's really like a warm up, like a practice game. But when you look at, it's just, against Alabama, people say, well, Alabama is Alabama. Hola, amigo, estoy haciéndolo un poco inglés. Espero que entiendas inglés. Estoy tratando de alcanzar la audiencia americanos y para crecer la audiencia. Hoy me toca a mí inglés. Gardo está hoy con su familia, entonces estamos ahora en inglés. Estoy hablando de los huracanes. Back to the Hurricanes. Again, number 1, I'm gonna name 10 things that have cost them to lose all these games. Number 1, drop balls, both by receivers and defensive backs, linebackers, safeties, but most notably offensive players, the tight ends, the receivers, even the running backs. They're just dropping the ball every game. Missed tackles, number 2. We're a little bit better today, but a lot of missed tackles. Number 3, penalties, especially stupid penalties where you can't control your aggression. The referee's going to throw the flag if you hit late. They can't control themselves. It's like they're out of control. Number 4, coaching. They never seem to be ready. The Alabama game, yes, Alabama's Alabama, but still, they didn't look like they were ready. Had the whole summer to prepare. They knew Alabama was going to should have been up for Alabama. Destroyed. Michigan State. The game into the 4th quarter was 17-14. Miami had played horrible and still was in the game. What happened? They lost their composure in the 4th quarter. They gave up. Okay, that's coaching. That is on coaching. Virginia. What happened with Virginia? Well, he went for the field goal, except he was at the 14-yard line, first down at the 14. And I don't necessarily disagree with running the ball. Everybody said take a shot in the end zone. Well, what happened today? The ball got intercepted. But he could at least maybe run a stretch play and try to get a couple yards. They know they can't run up the middle. The center that they had, Gainer, wasn't that great to run blocking anyway. And they got Ja'Kai Clark that's still recovering, maybe not 100% from the injury, the car accident he had over the summer. And even though they say his true position is center, he still was, on the mend. And their guards are not dominating guards, so it's not like they run that good up the middle. They tend to run more better when they do stretch plays or when they use their speed, especially with somebody like Knighton, they call the rooster, that can get outside. So I don't agree with just what he did 2 weeks ago, where he basically took a little run up the middle, they stuffed him. Took another run up the middle, they stuffed him. So it was basically just running out, making Virginia 2 weeks ago, use their timeouts and going nowhere. Hoping and praying that somehow they would, break through and score or get inside the 5 and kick an extra point field goal. Did not work. And then on third down, make matters worse, he had the quarterback move supposedly to where the kicker wanted him to put the ball, and the quarterback lost another 3 yards. So when they ended up kicking the field goal, it hit the post. He's a right-handed kicker, bear in mind. He hit the left post, so he hooked it. Now, even though he hooked it, okay, he hit the post, okay, and he hit the post. He hit it hard. He hit it up like more than 2/3 of the way up. So it wasn't a problem of getting it blocked or not hitting it hard. He hit it hard. He just hooked it. It's like when you're playing golf or something and you hook a shot. The problem is that if it would have been a little bit closer, even if those 2 or 3 yards that that the quarterback gave up, the ball would have gone in. Now that's on coaching. Even if you don't throw the ball into the end zone, you try to get closer so you can make that field goal as easy as possible, especially for a freshman kicker. Again, I would have taken a shot in the end zone, but that's me. Today, what happened today? Well, today he did take a shot, but it wasn't a shot in the end zone. He was trying to get close again. So basically, I guess he said, I'm going to try to get a closer field goal so we can tie this game and go into overtime. The only problem is that the ball got tipped on the line. Now, bear in mind, it's a great play by North Carolina. You got to give credit to the other team. The problem is they had like 9 or 10 block balls on line of scrimmage during the game. If you have 9 to 10 block balls, okay, passes from the quarterback during the game, what does that supposed to tell you? That the offensive linemen are not getting the defensive linemen to bring their arms down. When you're engaging in the block, that's coaching. You're supposed to try to get these offensive linemen, to use their hands in such a way where, the defensive linemen, where the quarterback can throw over them. Not when they're constantly tipping your passes, 8, 9 passes on the line. That's unacceptable. And so if you know that's happening, at that crucial time when there's like 20 seconds, you either have to spike the ball and hope that this time the young kicker will not choke and make the field goal, because when they're young, they could get nervous. It happens to the best of them, and when they're young especially, the pressure. So what does he do? He throws a pass over the middle, gets tipped, and gets intercepted. Now, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't have time to run the ball and get a little closer. It was going to be actually a closer field goal than the one he missed 2 weeks ago, because I believe they were at the 12-yard line instead of the 17. So it's going to be about a 29-yard field goal. The kid was kicking good today, had made 2 field goals of longer distances. Again, maybe he didn't want to put the pressure on the kid. Maybe he hoped the receiver catch the ball and either run it in or put it inside the 5 and then chip chop field goal. But a lot of block balls. That's on coaching. You got to realize what the other team has, what's been happening in the game, and adjust. So let me go back to the beginning, because it's a lot of information. First, drop balls. Defense and offense, but mostly your offensive players. What do the receivers get paid for? In college, believe it or not, they do get paid, and they're getting paid now, to catch the ball. Catch the ball. They're dropping far too many passes. And it's contagious. Now the up-and-coming young guys that were taking over for a lot of the veterans, they're doing it too. So it's a culture thing or a coaching thing. I don't know what's going on. All right. Second of all, missed tackles. Again, that's coaching. You have players on other teams that have less talent, and you can't run the ball on them. I mean, when Miami used to beat these teams that were less talented, Miami used to beat them because of the obvious more talent, more speed that they could get behind them. But the problem is, you're in a hole starting from the game because you have so many missed tackles that the teams get ahead of you. So they make you one-dimensional. Then you have to throw more than you can run. And then to make matters worse, the line doesn't block that good. So it puts a really strain playing from behind. But what happens? The other teams play good fundamentally. So it's almost like the other teams have improving coaching and we have gone backwards. The other teams know that we have more speed. So what do? They find a way to cover the receivers tighter. Sometimes they hold them. Sometimes they get away with pass interference and holding. But they know the refs are not going to call holding play after play after play or pass interference. So they say, well, we might get caught one time out of 10. So what are they doing? That's coaching. They're coaching them to find a way to negate the speed that Miami has over other teams. Okay, Miami's not doing any adjusting to that. They're not doing adjusting. So, again, drop balls, missed tackles, stupid penalties at especially critical times, coaching. Especially at the beginning of games, we always fall behind. Even in the Appalachian State game, Appalachian is not they're a good team, but they're, for a lower level. They're not as bad as Central Connecticut State, but they're not a Power 5 team. We've lost 6 consecutive games to Power 5 teams. We got blown out by North Carolina last year. We had the game against Oklahoma State. We just didn't play defense. Again, it's Omani Diaz. He's a defensive coach, and he takes pride in coaching the defense. And this year, he's coaching it all by himself. So he not only is he the head coach, but he's the defensive coordinator as well. And his defense is just getting worse and worse. So, again, what can you say? It's all on him. It's all on him. And then we get killed by Alabama. We had, a tight game against Michigan State. We get blown out in the fourth quarter. We lose to Virginia because we couldn't find a better way to win the game or get a closer field goal. We got a block again, and we fell behind. So we shouldn't have been in a position to try to win it with a field goal at the end when we have a lot more talent than Virginia. I mean, North Carolina blew out Virginia. We almost beat North Carolina. So there's no comparison. Is we fall behind no matter who we play, and then we got to hope that we can win. That's on coaching, okay? Then another thing, the offensive line. What is the deal with the offensive line? All these linemen are over 300 pounds. They can't block for the run. We keep getting, tackled in the backfield, tackled on the line, get a half a yard, get a yard. I don't understand when we have this size and this strength up front. And supposedly every year they put out the numbers of all the weight that they lift and how athletic they are running and moving and this and that. We can't block anybody. So, what can I tell you? So I think, what is it? We're up to 5. Number 6. What is it with the officials? I guess that can't really blame everything on the coaching and the officials, but you have to know how to work the officials. Don Shula was famous for working the officials. If he saw an official get a call wrong, he would make sure that official remembered, and he would make sure he would dog that guy so he wouldn't miss any more calls. Today I saw Ed Reed dogging an official because they were holding on the Miami receivers, and then lo and behold, on the next play, the holding that was happening all game long gets called in our favor. Why? Because he dogged the official. He's like, what are you doing? Do your job. Okay, so again, it has to do with coaching, but it has to do with smart coaching. Okay, another thing, okay, I think I'm up to 6. Number 7. What happens in halftime? What is it with this halftime that lately we've been coming out on fire? Okay, why don't we do whatever speech he does in halftime? Why doesn't he take it to the beginning of the game? Why does he wait so long to get these guys fired up? There still doesn't seem to be any urgency in trying to win the game out of the gate. You get a team that's not as talented as you get them down, you put you stomp on their neck and you finish them right there. But great teams like Alabama, Clemson, those type of teams, even though Clemson's having a bad year this year, the game is pretty much over by the start of the second quarter or halftime. What is it with this that, we're going to make it interesting? That's unacceptable. And the other thing, we don't develop talent. We have players that transfer to other schools and become all-stars. We have players that go on to the NFL and become all pros and rookies of the years and most valuable players. And with us, they're not good. Supposedly we made a mistake in the recruiting. How does that happen? We don't develop players. We don't develop players. There's a lot of teams around the league and the college that have 2- and 3-star prospects that are, average to good players. They end up being, top of the line All-Americans and then go up to a successful pro career. We have all these 4- and 5 stars. And they get destroyed. I mean, for lack of a better term, they look awful against teams that are supposedly lower talent. So that's, again, that we don't develop players. So let me see. Let me try to go back. It's so we're talking about dropping balls, both offense and defense, tackles, stupid penalties, coaching, not having the game plan to win the games and being ready, making adjustments. Number 5, poor offensive line play. Number 6, let's see what else I can bring up. Poor offensive. Number 6, you just said it right now. Oh, knowing how to work the officials. Okay. Number 7, whatever you say in halftime, why don't you package that speech? Why don't you make more? Again, it has to do with coaching, but be more creative. I don't know. Fire those guys up more at the beginning of the game. More preparation, more planning. Let me see, another 3. I don't even know if I know what to say. Okay, this goes back to the athletic director. It's not just Manny Diaz that has to go. The athletic director has to go. The athletic director doesn't seem that interested in winning, in having a winning program. Miami should take pride. It was football. Football is what built the other sporting teams in the UM. That was it. Football made money, and everybody got off of that. And then the baseball team followed suit, and even the basketball team that hasn't won like football and baseball that have won championships, but were very competitive and went to tournaments and all that, NCAA tournaments. Everything's going down. The baseball team hasn't been dominant in the longest time. They haven't made the World Series in ever. They've been getting not even making the tournament. The basketball team going backwards. Again, a lot of excuses. Well, injuries. Yeah, everybody has injuries. You have to have backup players. You have to have ways of dealing with injuries and still winning, being competitive. The football team, again. So we have to. There's got to be a move. It's not just Manny Diaz. There's got to be a move with the athletic director, and they got to put more emphasis on what it is to wear the helmet. There used to be pride in wearing wearing that helmet. We don't have that pride anymore. It's we're actually a laughing stock. Okay. Also, I don't know if this was 8 or 9, but get rid of the turnover chain. Get rid of the touchdown rings. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Sometimes you're losing by 2, 3 touchdowns, and you're taking out the chain when you get a turnover, or the rings when you get a touchdown. I know these are young guys and you want to pump them up, but that is so stupid and ridiculous. That is so embarrassing. We're becoming the laughing stock of the nation. A team that was so proud. A team that other teams were scared to play and come down here. Oklahoma, Nebraska, Alabama's, Florida Gators, the Seminoles, they were all scared to play the Canes when we were in our... Now we're a laughing stock. Don't make it worse by just wearing these ridiculous touchdown rings and turnover chain. It's not gonna help you win any games. And then lastly, man, I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. What is it with all these press conferences after the games making excuses that we have injuries? Every team has injuries. Oh, well, we had an injury in an unfortunate time. The refs are going too hard on us. We had unspecified reasons why the players couldn't play, whether it's discipline or they had maybe COVID or whatever. I mean, I'm tired of that, man. I'm tired of listening to that. Whatever happened to the days when the next guy up, Now, if Miami doesn't have enough depth, then maybe they should recruit better. The problem is, to recruit better, you have to win more. And they haven't been recruiting that bad. I mean, they have a lot of 4-stars, and they have like 2 or 3 5-stars in the team. They're playing teams that don't have the talent that they have. Supposedly, Miami was number 2 in talent in the ACC after Clemson. So what is happening? No excuses. No excuses for losing. Clemson is having a down year, but they got out victories. They played pretty much average to bad game against Syracuse. What was the final score? Clemson 17, Syracuse 14. Miami plays a bad game. They either get destroyed or they desperately try to come back and fall short. Time for a change, man. We have to go away from Manny Diaz. Let's talk a little bit about baseball. I want to congratulate my friend, my brother Bachelor. He's a big Dodger fan, living out there out west there. And the Dodger Blue. They took down the Giants. I almost feel bad for the Giants. 107 games, one of the best seasons in all of baseball. Going back I don't know how many years, and it's almost like it was for naught. because they got knocked off by the Dodgers. But then again, the Dodgers won 106. So normally the best two teams meet up for the championship. This time around, it was not even the right to go to the World Series. Now the Dodgers are facing the Atlanta Braves. They should beat the Atlanta Braves, but Braves are getting more games at home because they won the division, and the Dodgers are a wild card. But I think the Dodgers have superior talent. They should win. But stranger things have happened. But again, congratulations so far to the Bachelor. In the American League, I thought the best team was the Rays, but you know, Boston has a serious lineup, a lot of thumpers there. They do score a lot of runs, and they got a break. The game before the last game, that was this deciding game that gave Boston the victory. Tampa Bay actually caught a bad break on a rule. You know, the ball hitting off the fence and then hitting the player and then going over. Part of the game is a rule that's go for both teams. They were unlucky. Sometimes you got to get the luck and the ball got to bounce your way. Tampa Bay's out. So now Boston going back and forth with Houston. Should be a slugfest. We'll see. Maybe the team with the best pitching goes on to represent the American League. I think all things being equal and measuring things from all standpoint, hitting, pitching, and just all overall defense and clutch play, I think the Dodgers are the best team. But not always the best team wins. And then finally, I just want to say that I think if Tyson Fury and James Wilder fought another 10 times, I think Fury would beat him another 10 times. I mean, it's just one of those things. Fury does not seem to be able to get knocked out. I don't know. I don't know. He's out of shape. He's fat. He's flabby. But the guy's almost, he's got like resurrecting powers. I mean, in the first fight, he was out cold, and somehow he got up. And he was ahead on points. They called it a draw, I guess, because it was, they were expecting him to be knocked out, so they called it a draw. But most people said that he was ahead on points, and the judges just made an adjustment. The second fight, no doubt about it. I mean, he destroyed Wilder. And then this third fight, Wilder comes out with a different approach, using his jab, setting up his powerful right hand. Actually put Fury down twice, but not as bad as the first fight. I mean, he recovered quicker. And then just Fury just took over the fight from the 4th round to the I believe it was the 11th or so, or the 12th. He just took over. He dominated it, just dominated completely, and basically destroyed Fury and knocked him out. Knocked him out like he, just knocked him out. Like you knock out somebody. He was cold. He was out cold. Now I hear the people from Wilder saying, well, a couple times that Fury was down, the count should have been quicker. Bottom line is, Wilder got knocked out. So, I guess it's for Fury's the hero of the obese and the flabby. He's got stamina though, even though he doesn't look like an athlete. He's got stamina, so I give him that. Okay, so I'm closing out the live. Basically, critique the Hurricanes, congratulated Bachelor on the Dodgers, and think that they're the best team still, in play for the World Series champion. And they're saying that I guess Fury is the best fighter in the heavyweight division now, even though he looks like a slouch. All right, guys, till the next time. Monday we'll be having Lunes de Fuego. Monday's on fire at 10 p.m. Edgardo Rubio, my colleague, that's out with his family today. So till the next time, take care. Blessings.